So you think you know your batsman from your bowler? Visit smartmoneyseries.coral.co.uk for your chance to win £100,000. The Smart Money's on Coral.
Hello and welcome to the Racing Post Cricket World Cup preview show with Coral. I'm James Milton. I'm joined by my Racing Post colleague Matthew Ireland and by John Hill from Coral, and the lads are at the top of their marks, ready to steam in with all the best bets for the tournament. Big discussion of England's chances, obviously. So just to start with, let's have a little spin through the format of the World Cup. 10 teams play each other in a round-robin stage. The top 4 go through to the semi-finals, and then England lift the trophy at Lord's on July the 14th. At least that's what the betting suggests. We're going to talk about England's outright chances very soon. But first things first, they've got a fascinating opening game, guys, against South Africa at the Oval. And it's, it looks to me like it could be one of the great kind of individual battles of the World Cup. First day, South Africa's new ball bowlers, Ngidi and Rabada, up against England's brilliant openers, Jason Roy and Johnny Bairstow. So if England win the toss and bat first, don't be late, because that is going to be great. John, I'll come to you for the match prices first of all.
Yeah, England are favourites, obviously, 4-9 to win the game, and we've got 2 of the top 3 ranked teams in the world here, so we couldn't have asked for a better starter. And if you like, it's going to be a good marker for where England are at, because they're warm favourites to win this tournament. But can they prove it against South Africa, India, and Australia? Because they're going to be the rivals. They've wiped the floor with Pakistan over the summer. That was comfortable 5-0 scoreline. But this is going to be their first real test of this tournament, and they'll be desperate to get off to a good start. It's very important to start the tournament well. Or the nerves will be there. This is a World Cup match, so there's a bit of pressure on England here. They're 4-9. South Africa 7-4. Could argue a bit of juice in that 7-4 for South Africa, but we're all hoping this is going to be a big summer for England with the World Cup and then the Ashes later on as well. Can we be greedy and get the double?
Absolutely. And Matt, we talked about England's batting so often over the past 4 years that that's been where they've just absolutely taken off under Owen Morgan. But they face a South Africa side who have one of the most exciting bowling attacks in the tournament. Dale Steyn injured, I think. But how do you see England facing up to Ngidi and Rabada particularly?
Yeah, it should be a belter. It's a great game to start the World Cup with. You have got the best bowling attack in South Africa against probably the best batting unit in the form of England. I've read this morning Dale Steyn's definitely not playing, so it will be Ngidi and Rabada, supplemented by probably Morris, and then the leg spin of Imran Tahir. So it's going to be interesting. But as you say, nowadays England don't do slow starts. They live life in the fast lane, as it were, with Bairstow and Roy, and they will just come at the South Africans with everything they've got. On what is usually quite a good oval pitch. So
what's your bet for the opening game, do you think?
I think it's difficult. I wouldn't be in a rush to back England, because they're probably playing one of the sides who have got the potential to, England can get 480, but they can also be 20 for 5, just the way they play.
And actually they were, I think, 20 for 6 against South Africa a couple of years ago at Lord's, which was a pretty spectacular collapse.
And there's no kind of Geoffrey Boycott digging in these days. If they're 20 for 3, they will come out.
They'll keep going, yeah.
They'll keep coming at you, and that is obviously can be dangerous. I would back them. The way I would get with them is certainly to have the highest score in the top 15 overs, top 10 overs, something like that. Roy and Bairstow have just got so much power, and the fielding restrictions these days in one-day cricket, you can only have 2 players outside the ring in the first 10 overs, so they're not scared to go over the top anymore. And there's no, kind of nudging and nurdling. They will come at you and try and go it. I think they got 100 off 10 overs against Afghanistan. This is obviously a much better bowling attack than Afghanistan, but that's probably the way I'd get with them.
Yeah, Jason Roy obviously on his home ground as well, and I think he got 89
great nick as well,
off 46 balls or something against Afghanistan. So that's a nice way to warm up for the tournament. And just on South Africa, John, it seems to be slightly the forgotten team. We're used to them being right up there in the betting, but obviously England, India, Australia are really overshadowing them. Can you see them causing a few upsets in the tournament?
They're definitely capable. They're not number 3 in the world for nothing, but they've been friendless so far in the betting. It's early days, but all the money's been for England and Australia to win the tournament. So they're kind of the forgotten team. Maybe they'll need a win here if they do beat England. That might just remind everybody they are good enough to go all the way. But certainly been friendless so far. Nobody wants to be with South Africa.
Yeah. I suppose a key thing for punters to remember if you don't follow cricket particularly closely but want to get stuck into the World Cup, AB de Villiers has sadly retired from international cricket. He was an absolute magician for South Africa, and you look, we've mentioned their bowling, which is very strong, but you look at their batting and think maybe without AB, there's not quite the magic that the other teams up there have. So let's talk about England. Are England going to win the World Cup? We've mentioned their price, 7-4. John, I'll start with you. If you just run through the prices of England and their main challenges.
Yeah, England are worthy favourites at 7-4. I think we all agree on that. They are the team to beat. Home soil. Everything's gone right since that last World Cup where they were eliminated in the group stage. Where are the weaknesses in this England team? You look through it, they more or less top the stats in every single department. The most wickets since the last World Cup, that's Adil Rashid's. The top 2 openers just come out explosive. They've got the highest strike rate of batsmen reaching 100. And then Jos Buttler is the more an explosive batsman right now. We talked about AD Villiers for South Africa. Well, we've got an AD Villiers with Jos Buttler. He just can take a game from any team in the world. We've seen it in T20 cricket. He'll do the same in the 50-over format. So there's no weaknesses for me. And I think the key player for England in this tournament, and it's a name that's not really been talked about, is Owen Morgan. Because I think they need that experience. We've got the youth in the team in Buttler and Archer in the bowling attack. But I think Morgan is going to be a key player for England. I think he's going to steer us when we're in trouble. He's not going to rush in, it's 50-over cricket at the end of the day. There will be moments in matches where we will fall apart and collapse and we'll lose wickets quickly, but I think he'll be the man who will just steer the ship and keep it simple for him. So I like him to be the top England batsman in the tournament, the most runs, and I think he's going to play an important role in helping us win the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I think Morgan's role in transforming this one-day side has just been phenomenal, really. And it started, he was given a hospital pass at the last World Cup. Alistair Cook was sacked kind of 6 weeks before the off, and he just had a squad that was completely lacking in confidence. And kind of immediately after that, they lost to Bangladesh, limped out of the tournament, and then I think their first series after that was an extraordinary series against New Zealand, where suddenly England was scoring kind of 380 and 400, and Morgan had just gone out there and just said, look, this is how New Zealand and Australia played. They got to the final. Let's try and do it ourselves. And I think Jason Roy came into the side then. Adil Rashid had played a few games before then, but really under Morgan's captaincy has flourished. And then even now they're still adding the last little bits into the squad. Jofra Archer obviously, but Tom Curran, another interesting player who's come in the last year or so. And I just think they just tick every box really, plus home advantage. Are punters still willing to back England even at kind of 7-4? Yeah,
they are indeed. It's slowed down a little bit now. The juice is obviously taken out of them. But as we saw against Pakistan, we're just scoring runs for fun, aren't we? What is par now with England? Is it 380? Is it 400? They will be popular, and I can just see that continuing really. We said a bit of money for Australia. They've been the next best side. I think they were 9-2 before they beat us in that warm-up game. They're now 7-2, so they've been going in for them. Surprised India have not been as popular as they normally do. I don't know if it's conditions with it being in England, but we all know how good India are. So they're going to be the two main threats, obviously, throughout the tournament, but it is one-way traffic for England.
Yeah. And Matt, how do you see the outright market shaping up?
I certainly think England are the right favourites. Run about how they've now got every base covered, like even with Archer, whether it's right or wrong that he's in the squad, at the end of the day you pick your best players, and he is, he might have only played 16 games of 50-over cricket for his county, but he's shown in IPL, Big Bash, that he's just got it. He's a gun bowler. He bowls 90 miles. He ambles up to the wicket and bowls 90 miles an hour. Yeah. In the field, he's absolutely exceptional. The bat, he can hit the ball long way. Which we're talking about a team who bat Moeen Ali at number 9.
Yeah,
this is a guy who's
opening the batting.
The guy who scored test match one-day hundreds, who can score at 3 every 2 balls. He can a strike rate of 150. He can do that. It's just, and there's also now they've got that you talk about Rashid and Ali will probably play every game.
Yeah.
Because of how kind of the only worry I have about England is the fragility of Mark Wood is he's a great player when he's playing, and he's got that X factor. Bowls 90 mile an hour, can really hurry batsmen, especially on green skiddy wickets which you get in England. But again, he bowled 3 overs on against Australia and went off with.
Yeah, he looks like he's got the all clear now, but obviously with his fitness,
they'll have to manage him. That's why it's talk about Tom Curran. I was kind of in David Wheeler camp in that kind of situation in terms of the selection, because he offers something slightly different to your Plunkett's and your Currans. That left arm option can be very, we've seen with Trent Bolt, Mitchell Starc, it's very potent in world cricket. There's a lot of right-handers. So, and with the ball swinging in England, it's a very dangerous weapon to have.
And what about kind of India and Australia? They're the obvious threats.
I'm not the whole Australia you have come in and peaked at the right time, and obviously, Smith and Warner are high quality players who proven over the last decade. I'm kind of a little bit lukewarm on their bowling attack. I don't think Zampa's particularly threatening with the ball.
The doubts over Mitchell Starc as well.
Pat Cummins is a great player. Pat Cummins is a very good bowler. Again, though, he's had a lot of injury problems, and whether they can keep him fit for 6 weeks is 50-50 really. Nathan Coulter-Nile he's got this kind of habit of picking up wickets, but he's quite expensive, and bowlers will come at him. I'm worried that they probably don't have the X factor that England have.
I think Australia's batting is probably shaping up pretty nicely. I mean, they came from 2-0 down to win a series in India 3-2, which it takes some doing. Then they beat a pretty limited Pakistan side 5-0 in UAE, and then they've got Warner and Smith coming back. So that's obviously shaping up nicely. But
in terms of India as well, I think a lot of people, if it's anything like last year in terms of wickets will be very dry, and their spinners will come into it. And India have got 2, mystery spinners in Kuldeep and Chahal, who will take a lot of wickets. And also, their seam bowling is a lot stronger than it has been in the past. India have had great batsmen for a long time. And they've got obviously Kohli and Shikhar Dhawan. Dhawan scored more runs than any other player in the last 3 ICC tournaments, and 2 of them were here. But they've got Bumrah opening the bowling, who bowls seriously quick. Again, handballs in like Jofra, but manages to throw it down at 95 mile an hour. So I'd rather be in India's camp than Australia's. I can see Australia making the semi-finals, but just think they lack what England and India potentially have.
So let's just wrap up the England chat. John's obviously keen on Owen Morgan, top England run scorer. I've gone for Jason Roy in our preview in the paper, and Adil Rashid. We mentioned England's seam bowlers are likely to be kind of rotated during the group stage because they have had injury problems. I think Adil Rashid is a pretty solid favourite to be.
I'm in total agreement with both of them. Roy's kind of taken his game to another level since being dropped in the before the Champions Trophy semi-final a couple of years ago. I think he then went to next time out. He went to the MCG and then 180, which is England's highest ever score as for an individual. In the Pakistan series, he got 250s and 100. On Monday against Afghanistan, 89 or 40 odd balls. I think everything's coming right for him. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a great World Cup, and then he probably plays in the Ashes. And then in terms of the bowling, the reason why I think Rashid, again, like you, is the worthy favourite and probably the bet is because I think he will play every game. I think, the likes of Wood, Archer, all of them players will be rotated against the lesser likes. You'll see Curran getting a game, and they will share the wickets around, and also, one big thing about Rashid is he can be expensive, but he knows how to mop up a tail. If a lot of the times for Yorkshire, they will put him on against when teams are 6-7 down, they'll put him on and he can take 3 wickets for 10, 15 runs.
He showed that in the West Indies, took 4 wickets in 5 balls to
he knows his Google is pretty much unpickable for a tail ender.
Fantastic. Right, we're going to take a little drinks break. We will be back to look through some of the other challenges for the World Cup in just a moment.
Join Coral's Bet and Get Club and get a free £5 bet every Sunday. Just sign up and spend over £25 between Monday and Saturday. The smart money's on Coral.
Welcome back to the Racing Post Cricket World Cup preview show in association with Coral. I'm joined by John Hill of Coral and the Racing Post Matt Ireland. And we've spoken about England, who have a fantastic chance of lifting their first World Cup on home soil. But what about some of the teams lower down the betting? And I'm going to start with Pakistan, actually, who we've seen being brushed aside by England. You know, the way England have been playing, there's no shame in that particularly. And Pakistan sprang an incredible surprise in the last major tournament held in England, the 2017 Champions Trophy, when they were absolutely walloped by India in their opening game. And they've somehow rallied and I think won the final against India by 180 runs or something. So, you know, you're always wary as a cricket tipster and as a bookmaker of writing Pakistan off. But this time, what sort of price are they, John? And are you happy to lay them?
They're 12 to 1, and I have to say, given what we've seen in England of that series so far, I couldn't back them at 12 to 1, I have to say. But you can never discount them, can you? They always seem to have a good record in these big tournaments in England, and it's a young Pakistan team. You know, we haven't got the experience like of Shahid Afridi, those names anymore. It's a very young team. I think they're capable on the day of beating anybody, I have to say. But could I see them putting a run together and winning this tournament? Not for me, Matt.
No, agreed. I think they're a team of two halves as well. Their batting is pretty good. The likes of Babar Azam averages over 50 in both one-day formats. He's a classy player. Fakhar Zaman at the top. But then past that, I'm a little bit worried about their bowling. I wouldn't say, this is not a team who's got a Waqar Younis or a Wasim Akram in it. They've recalled Mohammed Amir, who, very good player, but not really shown a lot recently. I wouldn't be very strong on their chance.
Yeah, they almost look like one of those teams who the format isn't going to suit because you are going to be rewarded for consistency. You're playing every other team in the tournament.
Straight knockout would have been perfect for them.
Yeah.
And I do think Babar is their most consistent batsman. Yeah. He's 2 to 1 to be their top run scorer. So if you are looking for a Pakistan bet, maybe that's the way to play. I do think he'll consistently pick up runs, as you say, in all formats of the game. He's their top man, isn't he?
Yeah, he looks like he can play the Joe Root role for them and let the others come off or not as the tournament goes on. We'll see.
In terms of the Joe Root, I think that's a big one actually. A lot is made of people hitting 6s and 4s, but people batting at 3 and 4 who do accumulate will get a lot of runs, which is probably not reflected in the market.
Absolutely. It's not 2020 cricket, is it?
Exactly.
That you do get rewarded for hanging around and just seeing off a few overs, and especially if wickets come early with the openers. It's going to be very important for likes of Root, Morgan, those middle batsmen for teams, just to steady the ship and not lose any more. Sacrifice 3 or 4 overs just to hang around and be there to the death.
So you're looking at guys like Williamson, I suppose, for New Zealand,
Smith
for Australia, even for Afghanistan. I've got a guy, Rahmat Shah, who can play that role. A lot of the Afghan players just love to go aerial pretty much from ball one.
They really do.
He looks like he's the one kind of who could anchor the innings there. So let's move on to New Zealand, who made the final last in the last World Cup, co-hosting with Australia. They got blown away in the final, but they've got such a settled, experienced core. Martin Guptill, Williamson we mentioned, Ross Taylor, who's been terrific after his eye operation. Just goes to show batting is a lot easier if you can see the ball. And Trent Boult, who I really like in kind of top New Zealand wicket taker, top tournament wicket taker. He's taken 8 wickets in 2 warm-up games and looks absolutely at his best.
And it will suit the conditions in England. A lot is made of how New Zealand is a similar climate to England, and he will be the one player in the New Zealand team who the conditions in England suit more than any. He'll swing the ball. He bowls at the perfect time. He bowls in the middle overs. He bowls obviously at the front end of an innings against people coming to attack him, and he bowls in the middle overs. He's a class act of their attack. I'd be, he's joint top wicket taker in 2015. I'd be pretty much in that same camp.
Yeah, I've gone for New Zealand to make the semi-final.
Yeah, they're really underrated. They're a very consistent team. They're not erratic at all compared to other teams. And as a collective, I'm not saying they're the best in terms of quality, but as a collection of 11, they're probably the best team outside of England as a well-rounded unit. And everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone knows their roles in the team.
Yeah, they've been playing together for a long time, haven't they? The
fielding is probably up there with the best in the world. There's not a lot of negatives.
Yeah. Sorry, John, remind us of their outright price.
They're 10-1. They've been weak in the betting, but like you guys, I can see them getting past the group stage. Whether then they come up against England or Australia,
it'll almost be one where you're looking maybe back the stage of elimination.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
whoever they face in the semis,
they're going to be odds against, are they? Yeah. In terms of Trent Boult, he's 7-4 to be the top Kiwi bowler, wicket taker. That you'd fancy, 14-1 to be the top tournament wicket taker. So he's right up there with the very best, with the likes of Cummins and Rashid. And then no surprise that Kane Williamson's 13-8 favourite to be their top batsman.
I'd be looking at semi-final exit for them. That's where I'd probably get with them.
Excellent. Now a team who I think we're all going to enjoy watching, and a team who has a tipster kind of previewing this tournament. I've really struggled with the West Indies. Because you look at them and they're John, what price are they for a start?
They're going to be big, aren't they? They're 16-1. Probably the biggest price they've been for a World Cup for a while. And
actually, they're the team who's probably ruffled England the most in recent series. They had that series in the Caribbean at the start.
Yeah, albeit in the Caribbean, wasn't it? But,
you're obviously.
But I know what you mean. Yeah, and that would be in England's mind. You just don't know what you're going to get with the likes of Chris Gale, could you? You could take any team apart. You could just have a poor tournament, and they'll be whittled out for 150 for a few games. So
he's talking a good game as usual. The old universe boss.
Is this his last tournament in NAS World Cup? Is it?
Yeah, it will be. I think.
I would think so.
He's not going to go out quietly.
No, listen, he's box office, isn't he? He's the guy that you'll pay the ticket price for, the likes of Butler. So it'll be entertaining to watch him. He's not the kind of player I'd be backing in any kind of top tournament run scorer market, so I have to say.
I'll tell you one Chris Gale related bet that I did see on Coral's website that interested me was Gale and Andre Russell to hit 30 or more sixes between them at 4-6, I think that was.
Probably get that in a game, can't you?
5 games.
I thought that looked really solid. I mean, these guys are absolutely monstrous hitters.
They hit it a long way, don't they?
86 sixes between them in the IPL. I think they faced 49 balls in their last warm-up game against New Zealand, hit 6 sixes between them. And their first 5 games are at Trent Bridge, the Rose Bowl and Taunton, which you think are going to be really high-scoring games. So I think they could nail that in 5 games.
Definitely. I quite like the West Indies, but they're potentially maybe a team for 4 years' time. They've got a lot of the 2 guys I've kind of singled out are Shimron Hetmeyer. He's only 22. He's only played 24 ODIs, but he's already scored 4 centuries. I mean, 1 in 6. You struggle to find many players with, I know it's obviously a small sample size, but didn't have the best IPL, but he ended with 75 against Hyderabad. And England have already found out he's a dangerous customer. And top bowler, there's a young lad called Oshing Thomas, who is, again, he's only a young lad, but he's got serious pace. He's not
England away in one of those.
He took 5 for 21 against England, I believe. He's only played 9 ODIs, but that's his sole fifer. He's not, your typical West Indian Michael Holding languid star. He's definitely not whispering death, but he's a robust character who bowls some serious pace, and he will take a lot of wickets.
And getting towards the bottom of the market, I mean, Sri Lanka's fall from grace has been remarkable. What price are they to
80-1? Just Afghanistan bigger than them,
and just to put that into perspective, I mean, they reached the final in 2011. They won it in 1996, and throughout the kind of late 90s and early 2000s. With Jayawardene and Muralitharan and Sangakkara, they were competitive in World 2020s and World Cups. They were serious players, and it's the wheels really have come off for them. Yeah,
I don't know what's gone wrong with them really. You can't really name their 11 anymore, can you? There's not many recognisable names on that sheet.
I would say if someone got injured and they called up Sangakkara, he will be a short price to be their top run scorer. That's
Murali as well, top bowler. Give him. I don't know how old he is now, but
loads of them. They're just in crisis from the fields to the hierarchy. I think everything's just going wrong for them. I mean, I actually did the preview for Sri Lanka. Sorry, the captain's not played since he's not played 50 over cricket since 2015 World Cup.
Incredible.
And he's not even the only one. There's more. There's 2 or 3 of them in the same boat. And I mean, there's only one way I'd get with Sri Lanka, and that's for them to finish bottom.
Right.
I can see Afghanistan beating them.
Yeah. The one guy I would say, in play punters, look out for a guy called Isuru Udana of Sri Lanka, who comes in lower down the order, and you know, if as we expect them to, they are struggling with the bat. This guy could come in and top score at a big price. He can give the ball a real whack. He played some amazing 2020 and one day innings in South Africa this year, but I'm scratching around for positives. For
it's difficult. I mean, you know, their best bowler is still Malinga.
Yeah, and you know, can you see him playing nine games in however long?
Really. I mean, I had quite a good IPL, and they've managed to hack off Angelo Matthews, who is, you know, by a long way their best player. Stripped him of the captaincy after the Asia Cup debacle, and he's still in the side. But
well, I think he was the top run scorer in the Asia Cup. Yeah, and still sacked him for.
I think the reason why I'd back them to come bottom and Afghanistan to beat them is because they hardly ever score for 300, which is not even a par score these days.
Yeah. Whereas Afghanistan, if we move on to Afghanistan, I mean, they do have players.
Yeah, they hit 240 odd in a T20 recently. I mean, Sri Lanka are nowhere near as powerful as them. I mean, they got 235, 239 against Australia on Monday. I mean, it's just, they're not going to win any games like that. Whereas Afghanistan definitely can beat them.
Yeah, Sri Lanka batting like it's the 1990s. Afghanistan's problem, I think, might be the other way. I think their coach has mentioned he just wants his side to kind of build an innings and you know, bat through the 50 overs, because they've been brought up on 2020 cricket and they are brilliant at it. But so if their batsmen can kind of knuckle down, I mentioned Rahmat Shah as the guy who can hold them together, then you know their spin bowlers are probably the envy of any team in the tournament. Rashid Khan, the superstar, and Mujibur Rahman and Mohammad Nabi, who's had successful spells all around the world as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'm slightly kind of sceptical about. I mean, Rashid Khan's taken 125 wickets at 15.
The secret's out about him.
Have to be slightly sceptical about the opposition, that they don't play the top class nations all the time. You're talking, these have been taken against Ireland, UAE, Scotland, for that.
But he's done it in
the big.
Well,
he's got, you know, he's like the IPL's $1 million man, isn't he now? But I think he's 6-5 to be top.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
I was thinking maybe Nabi might be the alternative there. But and Bangladesh, last of all, who played some really good cricket in the tri-series against Ireland and the West Indies. And the West Indies were missing a lot of their star names who were still at the IPL. But Bangladesh, you've got a price for them to reach the semis, maybe, John?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just looking in the outright market, they're 80-1. Nobody's going to fancy them to do that. But to reach the semi-final, we are 9-1.
Yeah, it's. I mean, they've got a hugely experienced kind of core of players. You know, Mushfiqur Rahim, Shakib Al Hassan.
Yeah, they're going to need a big win, aren't they, against one of the big teams?
That's it. Yeah.
I was watching the warm-up game yesterday against India. They had a chance.
Yeah.
And they seemed to just.
They couldn't quite put the foot down, could they?
And they lost wickets at crucial time. It wasn't like they lost one wicket. They were losing. I mean, India were on 3 hat-tricks. You know, you just can't afford to do that. That's where I would worry about them.
Right, we've covered all 10 teams there. Next up, we're going to get the lads' verdict on who wins the World Cup, as well as their top run scorer and top tournament wicket taker bet.
So you think you know your batsman from your bowler? Visit smartmoneyseries.coral.co.uk for your chance to win £100,000. The smart money's on Coral.
Welcome back to the Racing Post Cricket World Cup preview show. I've got Coral's John Hill and Matt Ireland from the Racing Post here. And lads, it's time to nail your colours to the mast. Are we all going England to win the World Cup?
It is, yeah. It's going to be a costly result for the bookmakers, one that they won't be hoping occurs. But I just don't see any weaknesses in this England team. I don't think it's a team that's going to fold under pressure. They've got the right balance. They've got the X factor in Archer. I thought that was a great move the way they played him in Pakistan. And after one ball, we knew he was the X factor for this team. And I think England are going all the way for their first ever tournament success in the World Cup.
Yeah, I've been in total agreement. I think it's definitely the best one-day team England have ever had, and possibly the best of the last 10 years, I'd say, in world cricket in terms of what they can do to a side. I would go for them to beat New Zealand in the final.
Lovely, that'll be a nice big prize.
Yep.
I'm completing the hat trick for England. I just think, John, you mentioned pressure. these guys who have kind of grown up playing now IPL and Big Bash cricket.
Yeah.
You know, you look at what Johnny Bairstow did in his first IPL season. Butler's
There's no fear anymore.
Fantastic.
No fear.
And you know, Archer and Tom Curran have played in these enormous leagues around the world. So yeah, I don't expect the occasion to upset England, and I think they there's a sizable gulf between them and the rest, really. So, you know, England batsmen presumably dominating the top tournament run scorer betting as well, John.
Yeah, they are indeed. Obviously, Virat Kohli tops the betting. Best batsman in the world, we all agree on that. He's 6 to 1. A little bit short for me. The guy that I like in this market, Steve Smith at 12 to 1. You know, twice the price of Kohli. I think Steve Smith's going to have a big tournament in the way he's positioned in that Australian batting lineup. But looking at the English players, Bairstow 10 to 1, Jason Roy 12 to 1. They're the two openers that are going to be going out like, you know, guns blazing. And Owen Morgan stood out for me, 33 to 1. I think that's a little bit big. I think Morgan's going to have, as I mentioned earlier, a great tournament. So at 33 to 1, I'd be having a small play on him, but my bet's Steve Smith at 12 to 1.
For me, it's between Roy and Root for different reasons. Roy can obviously, you know, he is a man who can score 200 opening the batting, whereas Root will just get you runs. Whatever the situation, he will score runs and he'll pick up 60s, 70s, 80s throughout the tournament, and that accumulation could just, I think he's probably 14, 16 to 1.
He's a bit short, 12 to 1 now, actually.
I think that's, you know, in the same kind of mould as Steve Smith, and he's just guaranteed to score runs.
Yeah. Well, I'd really like Jason Roy in this market. The other one I've mentioned is Martin Guptill of New Zealand, who topped the charts in the 2015
I think the thing is, with what I wrote about Guptill is he's liable to score you nothing against the better teams.
Yeah, don't get disheartened if he gets a couple of.
If he goes big, he will go big.
Yeah. You know, he scored I think 237 in a quarter final of the last World Cup. He's scored 189 in an ODI in England. I mean, he is an absolutely superb batsman on a flat pitch when he's in. So he's an interesting one, and two others from kind of some of the lesser nations. Babar Azam we've been mentioning, and Shai Hope as well of the West Indies, have both come into this tournament.
He scored 100 on Monday, I believe.
Yeah, he's played some outstanding one-day innings in the last year or so, and again he's one of those who, you know, you look at all the big hitters around him, but he could be the man who kind of tries to bat through the innings there.
Given the format, you don't necessarily have to win this tournament, do you, to be top run scorer?
No, that's it.
No.
Plenty of games.
You're going to get 9 games, whatever.
Absolutely. So I wouldn't be too concerned at backing Mother. If you don't think they're going to win the tournament, that shouldn't put you up back in.
Yeah, certainly each way at a big price. You know, you're still going to get 9 games, as you say. So very interesting market. Top wicket takers, Matt. What?
I think Rashid is obviously a massive player, given he has taken the most wickets since the last World Cup, and as we've said earlier, he will play most games for England, if not every game, and the wickets will suit as well. The two that I've got against him, big plays, were Shane Thomas, I said earlier. He's at 66s, I believe.
He is, big price.
It's a massive price. I don't know how many places is.
It's 4.
4 places. Pretty good. And it was Lungi Ngidi from South Africa. There's question. Potentially also back him in top South Africa, because there's question marks over. So obviously Dale Saint's not going to play. Otis Gibson has said that he's going to play. They're going to ease him into the tournament, and there's question marks about Rabada's fitness as well.
Yes, he's had problems.
And I believe I've read somewhere that Ngidi has taken since he debuted in ODI cricket last February. He's taken the most wickets of anyone. He's a real kind of gun bowler who is, you know, destined for pretty big things. He's 33s, something like that. It's quite a big price, I thought.
33 to 1,
yeah. Actually, one other member of the South African attack we should mention is Imran Tahir, who comes into this tournament at the age of 40. So any kind of club cricketers in their mid-30s or whatever, don't give up. You know, I've told the lads I play for I will bowl leg spin when I'm 30, so I've got a year left. There you go. You can hone your craft.
Hope left.
And in 10 years' time, we could be tipping Matt Ireland for top World Cup.
I'm not sure about
that. John, who do you like in the top bowler market?
I like Trent Boult. We talked a lot about him in the New Zealand preview. He's 14 to 1. But yeah, Rashid stands out for me. I think he's going to be England's leading man. The way he cleans up that tail that Matt talks about, that's going to be crucial. You know, 3 or 4 wickets just in the bag so quickly at the back end of the tail.
So he's got a knack of taking big hauls as well.
Yeah.
I think I've read somewhere like from the last World Cup, he's taken 4 or more wickets on 9 occasions.
Yeah.
I mean, that is quite a lot in 10 overs. It's pretty.
I think he's going to go for a lot of runs. Don't get me wrong, but that's
Oh,
not
yeah,
worry
yeah,
in
but
this
that's-
market, is it?
yeah.
That's irrelevant. If you backed him for that, you're going to be.
That's obviously why his downfall in Test cricket is he is an attacking bowler, but
I think that's another
It's not an
strength
issue
of,
anymore.
of Morgan's captaincy, in that he's obviously said
Backs
to him,
him.
look, I want you to attack. Don't worry if you get hit around a bit.
And that is England's strength now with our 2 spinners. Ali and Rashid are key players.
Yeah.
Aren't they? When was the last time we said that?
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
Swan was crucial, but I think this is one of our biggest strengths. Actually, you look around the top teams, and not many of them have top spinners in the side.
probably
No,
India,
certainly too,
and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other guy I wanted to mention, top wicket taker, was Pat Cummins. I think there's been a bit of money for. Maybe you'd look at him in top Australia wicket taker, because Mitchell Starc, who was man of the tournament in the last World Cup, has had a lot of injury problems. He's another one who you'll have question marks about whether he's going to play every game. And Pat Cummins, had an injury-ravaged start to his career, but in the last 2 or 3 years, he's looked really strong and been picking up huge amounts of wickets in all formats. So he's another guy to consider for me. Right, I think we are just about ready to get your naps for the tournament. So this is the big moment. John, you're looking very confident over there. You've got a bit of a Viv Richards swagger as you come to the crease to deliver your nap.
Yeah, I'm coming down the crease. I'm looking to 6 out the park. It's all Sri Lanka for me. I'm so against Sri Lanka in every single market in this tournament. I'll be backing them to finish bottom of the group, 9-4. Afghanistan top that market at 6-4, but I think Afghanistan are more than capable of beating Sri Lanka. I wouldn't be shocked actually if Sri Lanka didn't win a game. You could back them to win 0, but a 9-4 Sri Lanka to finish bottom of the group. That's the one that really stands out for me.
Excellent.
Yeah, that would have been mine.
Sorry,
No, it's fine. I'll go for the juicier price, which is Sri Lanka to lose every game at 12-1.
Great.
But that would be my outside nap. Probably Roy, top run scorer.
Fantastic. Right, my nap would be Babar Azam, top Pakistan run scorer. We've been extolling his virtues throughout the show. He just looks an absolute class act. Yep. Their opening batsmen have actually made incredible starts to their one-day career, Imam Ul Haq and Fakhar Zaman. But I think their records have been flattered a bit.
He's the glue that holds it all together.
Yeah. I suspect the best bowlers are going to find out those openers, and Babar Azam looks the one for me there. Right, well, thanks very much, John and Matt, for your words of wisdom there. We're going to be covering the Cricket World Cup here. We've got 11 more shows throughout the tournament. Next one's on Friday, when we'll be looking back on England's opening game against South Africa and previewing the next lot of group matches. So please tune in with the Racing Post Cricket World Cup shows throughout the tournament.
Join Coral's Bet and Get Club and get a free £5 bet every Sunday. Just sign up and spend over £25 between Monday and Saturday. The smart money's on Coral.